Listen closely. There's a reason this message found you right now. You didn't stumble here by accident. Something in your spirit has been stirring, hasn't it? You've been sensing movement in the unseen. Like the air itself is heavy with change, like something sacred is drawing near, but hasn't quite broken through the surface yet. You've prayed, you've waited, and you've wondered if heaven even remembers the promise. You've watched the clock tick and the calendar pages turn while you whispered, "Lord, how much longer?" But deep within you, there's a quiet knowing that refuses to die, a flicker of faith that won't let go, no matter how long the night has been. Hear this? Now your breakthrough is closer than you think. The delay you've been fighting wasn't denial. The silence wasn't abandonment. God has been working behind the veil, aligning things you couldn't see, preparing doors that only open at the right divine second. You've been walking through what felt like nothing but heaven calls it preparation. You're standing at the edge of fulfillment. The pressure, the warfare, the strange peace after chaos. It's all confirmation that something is about to shift. There's a sound in the spirit right now, a tremor of movement, the echo of chains falling. The waiting season that once stretched endlessly before you is now collapsing into divine timing. This is not just another message. This is a signpost on your path. God sent this word as reassurance, not because you're weak, but because you've been faithful when no one was watching. You kept showing up when doors didn't open. You kept believing when evidence said otherwise. And now heaven is whispering, you are closer than you think. In the next few moments, you're going to see patterns make sense. You'll understand why certain things were delayed, why some people left, and why your spirit could never rest in the ordinary. You were never meant to stay where you were. You were being positioned for where you belong. So take a breath. Let your spirit quiet the noise. This word isn't just information, it's confirmation. It's heaven's gentle reminder that your tears watered the very ground that's about to bloom. Because this is the moment before movement, the stillness before the shift, and soon what was unseen will be undeniable. You felt the shift even if you couldn't explain it. The atmosphere around your life has been changing quietly, subtle at first, like a whisper in the wind, but unmistakable now. It's as though heaven has drawn closer, and the veil between what is seen and unseen has grown thin. That's because God has stepped into the scene. Every silent season, every unanswered prayer, every door that didn't open, it wasn't random. It was divine orchestration. The Spirit of God was moving the pieces, removing distractions, and preparing your name to be called at the right time. You see, when God writes a breakthrough into your story, He also arranges the timing, the people, and the setting, so that nothing and no one can steal it. This is that moment, the one heaven had on its calendar all along. Even now, the Spirit is testifying to your heart, confirming what you've suspected, that what you lost is about to return in a higher form, that what was delayed is not denied, and that what was hidden is about to be revealed. God is saying, I have seen your endurance. I have heard your quiet prayers. I have watched you remain faithful when others turned away. The silence that felt unbearable was never empty. It was the sacred space where your strength was forged. Heaven does not forget those who wait with faith. So hear this with your spirit, not just your ears. God has already moved on your behalf. The shift has been initiated in realms you cannot see. The instructions have been sent, angels have been dispatched, and the very things that once resisted you are now being commanded to release what belongs to you. This is why you've been feeling the tension, because breakthrough often announces itself through pressure. It's the tightening before the release, the chaos before the calm, the birth pangs before the manifestation. You've been walking through divine contradiction, where what you feel doesn't match what God promised. But the contradiction is ending. The natural is about to align with the supernatural. There's a reason God didn't let you quit when it felt impossible. You were never meant to give up. You were meant to cross over. The same voice that called the storm to stillness is now speaking over your life. Peace, be still, it's about to happen. So don't let weariness convince you that heaven has forgotten. Your name is written in the divine timeline of fulfillment. God's hand is already on the next chapter, and it's unfolding even now. You were kept in the waiting, so that when the moment came, you'd recognize it was Him. Not luck, not coincidence, but the signature of a sovereign God. The atmosphere is shifting, and this message isn't here to promise someday. It's here to declare soon. There comes a moment in every divine story when heaven breaks its silence, when what was concealed in mystery begins to unfold before your very eyes. That moment is now. The veil is lifting. In the spirit, there is movement, a trembling in the unseen. God is shifting the weight of destiny in your favor. The delay that once mocked your faith is now turning into acceleration. What was blocked is opening. What was withheld is being released. I see it like a door heavy and ancient creaking open after years of stillness. Behind it, light bursts forth, not just any light, but the light of fulfillment. The prayers that once seemed forgotten are standing up in radiant form, saying, "We've been heard." This is the prophecy. Your breakthrough is not distant, it's imminent. The Spirit of God is confirming that everything you've been sensing, dreaming, and discerning has been pointing toward this divine intersection of time and purpose. The very air around you has shifted because heaven's calendar has turned its page to your season of manifestation. God says, "I am bringing clarity where there was confusion. I am reversing verdicts spoken against you. I am causing those who overlooked you to look again." The breakthrough will not arrive quietly. It will arrive undeniably. Doors that once required effort will now respond to your presence. Conversations that went silent will reignite in your favor. Resources you thought were lost will suddenly reappear carrying divine fingerprints. But understand this is not the reward of striving. It's the fruit of obedience. You didn't force this door open. You stayed faithful until heaven unlocked it. That's why this breakthrough will carry peace, not pressure. The prophecy being unveiled is layered rich with meaning. It's the end of cycles that kept repeating. It's the restoration of strength where you were once drained. It's divine visibility after a season of obscurity. It's justice for what was stolen in silence. It's alignment, your name being mentioned in rooms where you're not yet present. Heaven has declared it is time. And when God says it's time, no opposition can delay it. The same hands that allowed the refining fire are now releasing the rain. What was once dry will now overflow. You may not feel different, but your season has changed. Like dawn that quietly overtakes the night, breakthrough doesn't always announce itself with noise. Sometimes it's a subtle shift in the spirit that carries unstoppable power. One moment of divine timing can do what 10 years of striving could never accomplish. In this unfolding prophecy, the Spirit reveals that the waiting was never wasted. The pain was not punishment. It was preparation. The loneliness was not rejection. It was sanctification. You were being set apart, not left behind. You see, heaven never rushes what's eternal. While you were worrying about the delay, God was perfecting the details. He was protecting you from doors that opened too soon, from people who couldn't handle your anointing, and from opportunities that looked right but weren't aligned. And now the table is ready. The time is sanctified. The atmosphere has been cleared. The same God who allowed the stretching is now sending the blessing. This is the moment where the spiritual becomes visible, when promises that once felt like distant stars begin to shine right above your path. And though you've walked through shadows, the light breaking through now will make every dark place worthwhile. The prophecy has been written, the timing has matured, and the heavens are confirming your release. Don't just wait for the breakthrough, walk into it. It's not coming to your door. You are being led through His. Every divine breakthrough carries a spiritual blueprint, a hidden pattern woven by the hands of the Creator Himself. What you are walking into now isn't just a change in circumstance. It's a shift in dimension. God has been realigning the layers of your life so that the physical reflects what has already been completed in the spiritual. When heaven prepares to reveal something new, it often first appears as loss. The pruning comes before the blooming. The silence comes before the sound. The night comes before the dawn. These are not random opposites, they are divine stages. You've been in a divine metamorphosis, though you may not have realized it. Think of a seed hidden, buried, forgotten under soil. To the untrained eye, it looks like death. But beneath the darkness, life is expanding. The seed breaks open not because it's destroyed, but because it's fulfilling its design. That's what God has been doing with you. You were planted in obscurity so that your roots could grow deep enough to sustain the weight of what's coming. God could not let you sprout too early. The wind would have destroyed what wasn't ready to stand. The spiritual meaning of this breakthrough is this: what looked like endings were actually beginnings in disguise. The doors that closed were divine detours. The people who left were necessary subtractions. The waiting wasn't a pause. It was a holy incubation. You see, destiny has its own rhythm, and God is the conductor. Every delay, every redirection, every silence was an instrument in the symphony of your calling. The enemy wanted you to believe nothing was happening, but heaven was composing harmony behind the noise. When you felt like you were standing still, you were actually being positioned. When you felt stripped of everything, heaven was clothing you in authority. When you felt forgotten, your name was being written on a scroll marked appointed time. Breakthrough is not just about receiving something new. It's about becoming something new. It's not the blessing itself that defines you. It's the person you become through the process. God didn't just want to open the door. He wanted to strengthen the one who would walk through it. There is divine symbolism in every storm you've endured. The fire refined your motives. The water cleansed your spirit. The wind tested your roots. The silence trained your discernment. And now when the door opens, you will not walk in timidly. You will walk in with the quiet authority of someone who has been forged by heaven's fire. Understand this deeply. Breakthrough is not reward, it's revelation. It's the unveiling of what God always intended. It's the moment your inner transformation collides with outer manifestation. There's a reason you could sense it coming. Before you could see it, your spirit recognized what your eyes could not yet perceive. You were feeling the pull of divine alignment. Think of the earth before a storm, the stillness, the charged air, the tension before the first drop of rain. That's the same spiritual pattern of breakthrough. The pressure you felt wasn't punishment, it was prophetic pregnancy. The atmosphere around you was being stretched to make room for what heaven was about to birth. Every time you wanted to give up but didn't, you were participating in divine endurance. Every tear, every prayer whispered in exhaustion became currency in the kingdom. None of it was wasted. It all became the foundation under your next step. This is the mystery of divine timing. God allows us to walk through seasons that seem to contradict His promise, so that our faith matures beyond sight. He teaches us to trust His word when evidence disappears. That's the birthplace of spiritual authority, when you can say, "Even if I don't see it yet, I know it's already done." That is why this breakthrough carries weight. It is not shallow or fleeting. It has depth because it was formed in depth. It will last because it was birthed in patience. It will overflow because it was tested in lack. You're not stepping into something new. You're stepping into what was always yours, now made visible. And when you look back, you'll realize every storm, every silence, every setback was heaven whispering, "I'm still here. Keep walking. It's closer than you think." You may have already begun to notice it. Small things that don't quite make sense, gentle disruptions that feel strangely divine. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. When heaven begins to move, the natural world starts to echo its rhythm. You might wake up at unusual hours with an unexplainable peace resting over you, as if your soul knows something your mind can't yet articulate. That's a sign the Spirit is preparing you. You may begin to see repetition numbers, words, or themes that follow you everywhere. New, open light restoration. God often speaks in patterns, using what's familiar to draw your attention to what's supernatural. For some, it will come through divine interruptions, opportunities that appear out of nowhere, a message that arrives at the exact moment you need it, people you haven't heard from in years, suddenly reaching out not by chance, but by design. The alignment of timing, the divine orchestration of details, is God whispering, "This is me." There will also be a stirring in your environment. Things that once felt comfortable will suddenly feel too small. Conversations that once satisfied you will no longer resonate. It's not arrogance, it's expansion. Your spirit is outgrowing what no longer fits your destiny. And perhaps most telling of all, your discernment is increasing. You're sensing motives quicker. You're hearing the inner voice of God with sharper clarity. What used to confuse you now feels obvious. That's not just growth. It's preparation. Heaven sharpens your perception before elevating your position. Another sign, spiritual agitation before alignment. Right before the shift, the enemy often tries one last time to provoke you sudden discouragement, strange conflicts, emotional heaviness out of nowhere. Don't panic. The closer you are to breakthrough, the louder resistance gets. Pressure increases right before release. There will also be unexpected favor. Doors that were once locked will open without you knocking. People will speak your name in rooms you've never entered. You'll see small wins confirmations, disguised as coincidences. Listen to me carefully. God doesn't always shout your next step. Sometimes He hints it. He places glimpses of the promise around you like breadcrumbs guiding you home. Each sign is a gentle whisper saying, "Keep going. You're almost there." And if you're listening closely, you'll notice one final confirmation, divine peace. That inner stillness that doesn't make sense amid uncertainty, that's heaven's signature. You're not anxious anymore, not because everything is solved, but because something deep within you knows it's handled. These signs aren't meant to inflate your expectations, but to anchor your faith. They remind you that God is near, active, intentional, moving in ways your eyes can't yet see. So pay attention to the subtleties, the way your spirit feels lighter, the way synchronicities multiply, the way impossible things begin to align. You're not imagining it. Heaven is confirming what it already decreed. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's unfolding. But before fulfillment comes, there is always refinement. Every divine promise is escorted by a final stretch, a narrow passage where pressure increases and clarity is demanded. Many call it warfare, but heaven calls it final preparation. This is the hidden side of breakthrough, the tests that come when you are closest to the threshold. It's the part no one sees, the inward stretching, the emotional exhaustion, the last wave of doubt that tries to make you turn back just before you cross over. You may notice its strange resistance appearing out of nowhere. Things that once flowed easily begin to stall. People who once supported you grow silent. The clarity you once had seems to flicker. It's as if everything is conspiring to push you backward. But listen closely. This is the enemy's last attempt to distract you from destiny. He knows he cannot stop what God has decreed. but he will try to wear you down just enough to make you surrender your position before the promise manifests. These are the hidden challenges of the chosen path. 1. The battle of the mind. You'll feel the weight of discouragement, the temptation to assume nothing is changing. But remember, the mind is the gate of faith. Guard it. Speak truth louder than fear. 2. The test of isolation. You'll notice a divine quietness around you. It may seem like everyone has moved on. That's because God is consecrating you, removing the noise, so you can hear His voice clearly before you rise. 3. The storm of contradiction. Doors may close while you're proclaiming open. Opportunities may vanish while you're declaring breakthrough. Don't be confused. Heaven tests conviction by contradiction. 4. The mirror of patience. You'll be asked to wait when everything in you wants to run. That delay is not punishment, it's calibration. God is synchronizing your step with His exact moment. These trials are sacred, though they feel unbearable. They are heaven's way of verifying readiness. You prayed for increase, and increase requires capacity. You prayed for wisdom, and wisdom requires stillness. You prayed for elevation, and elevation requires balance under pressure. You are not being punished, you are being trusted. Trusted to carry more. Trusted to stand taller. Trusted to represent light in dark spaces. So when the resistance rises, don't say, "Why is this happening?" Instead, declare this means I'm close. Because the intensity of warfare always confirms the proximity of breakthrough. Every storm that surrounds you now will soon testify that it was only proof of the coming sun. Stay grounded, stay gentle, keep your heart pure even when tested. Heaven is not testing your worth, it's proving your readiness. Remember this truth: the closer you get to the promise, the quieter God becomes. Not because He's gone silent, but because He's already spoken everything you need for this part of the journey. And when it feels like you have nothing left, know this: the anointing that carried you here will carry you through. You are not losing, you're being launched. Now that heaven has revealed what's coming, you must also know how to walk in it. Breakthrough doesn't simply arrive, it must be stewarded. God's promises are not passive gifts, they are living assignments. What happens next depends on how you posture your heart and respond in faith. So listen carefully. These are not ordinary steps. These are divine instructions for those standing on the edge of fulfillment. 1. Guard your atmosphere. The enemy cannot stop what God has spoken, but he can pollute your environment to make you doubt it. In this season, be intentional about what you allow near your spirit. Limit conversations that drain your faith. Protect your peace as if it were a priceless treasure, because it is. You're carrying something sacred, and not everyone will understand it. Surround yourself with worship, with quiet moments of stillness, with people who speak life. Where negativity is tolerated, faith diminishes. But where gratitude is cultivated, miracles multiply. To return to prayer, not as a habit, but as communion. This is not the time to pray only for outcomes. It's the time to align with the one who already holds them. Sit in silence and let the Spirit interpret the groans of your heart. Some of your deepest breakthroughs won't come from words, but from surrender. There's a posture heaven recognizes: humility mixed with expectancy. Pray not for proof, but for clarity. Not for speed, but for strength to walk at God's pace. 3. Act in faith before evidence appears. Every miracle in Scripture was preceded by an act of obedience. Noah built the ark before it rained. Peter stepped out before the water was still. Faith always moves first, then sight follows. If God has placed something in your spirit, a project, a vision, a conversation, begin preparing as if it's already done. Your movement becomes a signal to heaven that you believe what you've heard. 4. Forgive quickly and completely. Breakthrough cannot dwell in a bitter heart. The next door requires clean hands. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you do. Release the resentment, the disappointment, the unspoken anger, all of it. Unforgiveness is an anchor to the past, and God is trying to move you forward. When you let go, your spirit becomes lighter, and your path becomes clearer. 5. Write the vision. Heaven responds to clarity. Write what you're believing for. Name it. Declare it. Post it where you can see it daily. Not because God needs reminders, but because you do. It trains your focus, aligning your mind with the promise instead of the pain. 6. Speak life consistently. Your words are instruments of creation. Stop rehearsing defeat in your conversations. Speak as if the outcome has already been settled, because in heaven it has. When you say, "It's already mine," you're not being presumptuous. You're agreeing with divine reality. 7. Remain teachable. Elevation requires new wisdom. Don't assume that because you've endured much, you know it all. Stay open to divine redirection. God often sends wisdom through unexpected voices, a stranger, a passage, a dream. Listen with humility. Discern with peace. 8. Rest in trust. The enemy will attempt to make you anxious while you wait. Resist the urge to overthink or overplan. You are not the architect of your breakthrough, you are the steward of its timing. When you feel uncertain, say out loud, "I trust you." God even here. That statement shifts atmospheres. It invites heaven's calm into your storm. These instructions are not a checklist. They are a way of being. They align your internal posture with external promise. The miracle isn't only what you receive, it's who you become while waiting for it. Because when the door opens, you won't be scrambling to adjust. You'll already be in rhythm with God's flow. Remember, heaven blesses readiness, and readiness isn't perfection, it's obedience in motion. So walk forward gently, confidently, deliberately. You are stepping into sacred timing. Your faith is the bridge, and your obedience is the key. The same God who spoke the promise is the one guiding your next breath. You are not walking toward the blessing is walking toward you. Even as the breakthrough draws near, heaven wants you to know this: you are protected. Nothing that belongs to you can be stolen. No force, no shadow, no whisper of fear can cancel what God has sealed. Throughout this process, you have not been walking alone. The same presence that carried you through the wilderness is still with you now. Not distant, not silent, but surrounding you like a shield of light. You may not always feel it, but protection isn't proven by the absence of storms. It's revealed in your ability to stand through them. You're still here because God's hand never lifted from your life. His covering was over you in ways you didn't see. The accidents that didn't happen. The betrayals that didn't destroy you. The nights that didn't break you. That was divine preservation. When you were weary, angels stood guard. When you were confused, heaven whispered strategy into your spirit. When you almost gave up, grace reached down and held your soul steady. This is the assurance of the chosen God, is both your defender and your deliverer. He fights battles you'll never even know existed. He silences voices raised against your destiny before they can speak. He builds walls of light around those he has anointed, and no darkness can pass through. There is also protection in his timing. The reason certain doors stayed shut was because he saw the danger behind them. The reason some people were removed was because they carried weight not meant for your next level. His no was not rejection. It was redirection wrapped in mercy. You are surrounded not by uncertainty, but by angels of assignment. They have been positioned around your path, guarding the work being born in you. Every step you take in obedience strengthens the hedge around your life. So when fear whispers, "What if it all falls apart?" respond with truth. It can't, because it's built by God. Your protection isn't just external, it's also internal. God is guarding your mind from confusion, your emotions from collapse, your spirit from despair. The peace that seems illogical right now, that's His covering too. It's the evidence that heaven has you. Even when you walk through uncertainty, His presence will steady you. The scripture says, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." That's divine direction wrapped in protection. He won't just shield you from harm, He will lead you away from it. So rest tonight without fear. Rest knowing that the one who never sleeps is standing watch over you. Every tear, every sigh, every longing is known to Him. You are not exposed, you are encircled. And when the blessing arrives, you won't have to fight to keep it. What God delivers, He also defends. Let that truth settle deeply in your spirit. You are covered, chosen, and carried. And now, the story begins to turn. What once felt like endless waiting is now ripening into fulfillment. Heaven is shifting the landscape of your life, and the transformation has already begun, not just around you, but within you. Can you feel it? That quiet strength rising from deep inside, the kind that wasn't there before the storm. That's the mark of someone who's been refined, not ruined. You've been reshaped by divine fire not to destroy you, but to awaken what was dormant. You are no longer the person who entered the wilderness. Your prayers sound different now, less desperate, more aligned. Your vision is sharper, your discernment deeper, your peace unshakable. What once terrified you now tests you, and what once broke you now builds you. This is transformation not sudden, but sacred. It's the fulfillment of the hidden work heaven has been doing beneath the surface all along. When the breakthrough fully manifests, it will not come as chaos. It will come as clarity. Doors will open naturally, almost effortlessly, because your spirit will already match the opportunity. You won't need to chase what's yours, will recognize you. You will see divine reversals. Things once lost being returned with interest. Relationships healed. Finances restored. Strength renewed. But even greater than all of that will be the inward shift, the deep knowing that you made it through with your integrity intact. The transformation that's unfolding is more than reward, it's revelation. You will see that everything, every delay, every disappointment was connected. God was weaving a masterpiece, and now the threads form a picture you can finally understand. You'll find yourself saying, "Now I see why that had to happen. Now I see why they had to leave. Now I understand why the door stayed shut." And in that moment, gratitude will overflow like oil from your spirit. Not the shallow kind that says, "I'm glad it's over," but the sacred kind that says, "I wouldn't change a thing," because the pain became prophecy. The ashes became anointing. You'll walk differently, not with pride, but with peace. You'll speak differently with weight, with authority, with compassion born of experience. You'll carry light that others can feel because you've walked through darkness and didn't lose it. This is what heaven calls fulfillment. It's not just the receiving of the promise, it's the becoming of the promise. You are becoming the very word God spoke over you long ago. And soon your life itself will preach without words. Those who doubted will witness. Those who watched from afar will wonder. Those who mocked your faith will see that the same God who sustained you is now exalting you, not for vanity, but for visibility. Because your testimony isn't just for you, it's for every weary soul still trapped in their waiting. You are the living proof that patience pays off, that obedience still opens doors, that faith still moves mountains. So don't fear the spotlight of blessing. You've earned the glow of grace. Wear it humbly, shine it boldly. Heaven didn't bring you this far to hide you again. When you look around and realize how everything has come full circle, lift your hands not in pride but in awe. The story that began in tears will end in triumph. You will say with conviction, "Surely goodness and mercy have followed me," and you will know your breakthrough wasn't just about arriving somewhere new. It was about becoming someone new. This is the fulfillment of time, the completion of process, the unveiling of purpose, and it's only the beginning. Take a deep breath. You've made it through the desert, through the delay, through the doubt, and now the horizon is glowing with promise. The sound of breakthrough is not distant, it's echoing through your very spirit. Before you go, seal this word within your heart. Speak these affirmations aloud, not as wishes, but as declarations of divine truth. Let each one settle into your soul like a seed watered by faith. Affirmation 1. What God started in me, He will finish. No storm, no delay, no distraction can undo what heaven has ordained. What began as a promise will end in manifestation. I trust His timing. I trust His plan. Affirmation 2. I am aligned with divine timing. I no longer chase, I attract through obedience. I no longer strive, I surrender. I walk in rhythm with heaven's heartbeat, knowing that what's for me cannot miss me. Affirmation 3. Peace surrounds me, favor follows me, grace sustains me. I am protected on every side. Even in uncertainty, I am held by divine assurance. I walk through doors prepared for me, clothed in strength and covered in light. Affirmation 4. My breakthrough is unfolding now. Not tomorrow, not someday now. Even if I can't yet see it, I feel it. I live in gratitude for promises already fulfilled in heaven, waiting to appear on earth. Let those words anchor your spirit. You are not who you were when this journey began. You've grown quieter, wiser, deeper, and that's the true evidence of divine work. Heaven smiles upon you now. The same God who whispered hope in the night is now calling your name in the morning. The same hands that held you in pain are now lifting you in purpose. So walk forward gently, but boldly. The ground beneath your feet is holy. It's been prepared by every tear, every trial, every unseen prayer. The wind has shifted in your favor. The season has turned, and now receive this blessing. May the peace of God settle over you like golden light at dawn. May your heart rest, knowing that all things are aligning for your good. May doors swing wide before you, and may your name be spoken in rooms of favor. May your faith remain unshaken, your purpose clear, and your joy overflowing. May this word become flesh in your life, visible, tangible, undeniable. Go forth in grace. Go forth in power. Go forth knowing your breakthrough is closer than you think, and it's already begun.